We could change the world with love it all unfolds. Ooh, no holding back. We gotta be bold. They say it's over, but I'm not sold.
Hi, are you an author in the middle of self-publishing your next book? Somewhere along the process, you've probably heard about creating an audiobook. You've been encouraged to make an audiobook. You know friends who've made the investment in creating an audiobook, but you can't bring yourself to get started because getting into the technical weeds just seems too daunting. But what if we could take that all away? What if we could remove 90% of the technical barriers, so all you would have to do is show up to the microphone and record? Or maybe you don't want to record your own audiobook. That's totally fine too. We have an experienced team of professional narrators that would love to audition for your audiobook. Our Done For You service guarantees that you will have a professionally produced audiobook ready for commercial release. If you're ready to get started today, please click the link below and schedule a free call. We can't wait to hear from you and to get started on your project.
Hello, and welcome into another episode of Shine with Curiosity and Encouragement podcast. Um, that was so much better. That looked
Oh,
better. It sounded better. It even
that
had
was very good.
everything at the end.
Yeah, turned out really good. Hey, Stephen's about to have his book Francesca released on audio. It's like
Oh,
right on the
nice.
verge. Yeah, yeah. I think that's going to be really great. And he was very happy he worked with Stephen on audiobook, master's audiobooks, and he really liked working with him. He said it really went well.
That's awesome to hear. I'm glad to hear that people are using our sponsor and doing well with that. My name is Stephen Uries, author and illustrator of Pet Series Books. With me, as always, is Sunday. I can't talk. Susan Gabriel, author and publisher of Soul Sunshine. Welcome to another episode of Shine with Curiosity and Encouragement. As always, we are sponsored by Soul Sunshine. Be sure to visit us at soulsunshine.com. Um, Also, it is summertime, and we are doing a summer reading program with our books. If you are not part of the newsletter, be sure to hit us up so we can get you signed up for the newsletter. There's a free book every single week that we are giving away and encourage you to write a review if you read it. But it's not necessary. Just we want to get books out there and free for you to read.
Mhm.
We have a very special guest today. Um, Her name is Odelia Remy Elgarat, and she has a story for you guys. I've been looking forward to this one. So, without further ado, let's bring her to the stage.
Hello.
Hi, Odelia.
Hi,
Hi.
hi.
How are you? How are you doing?
Good, good. Summertime. So,
It
yay.
is. You are the author of "You Are Allowed: A Story of Finding Where You Belong, Not Where You Began," which is a very cool uh, title, very
Yeah,
long.
that's
So
really intriguing.
Thank you.
yeah,
Wow.
I love it. So why did you write this book?
Why? I was dreaming to write that book for a long, long time. Like since I was 18, I think.
Nice.
And so
Wow.
I finally did it. Took me a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about your book.
So it's actually a part of my life, a really hard or special time of my life when I was a teenager in France, back in France. So I was born and grew up in France. And since I was really young, I started writing. And then I discovered I was adopted.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah,
Wow.
and when I discovered I was adopted, it was really kept as a secret. And let's say I didn't react really good to the fact that my parent kept that secret and my birth mom didn't want me. So I find myself at a really challenging time in life, wondering who I was. So I search for a sense of belonging everywhere, and it's actually what is my in my book. You are allowed. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Did
That
you
would
uh,
that
did
would
you
be
end up
quite a shock.
did you
Yeah.
end up finding your birth mother at all?
Yeah, I did. Long time after that. So the part in the book, it's in my memoir. It's a part where I get lost, and yeah. But after that, yes, I met my birth mom. Yes.
Uh-huh.
So.
How did that go? What was that like?
Oh my goodness, it was super weird, but it was
Yeah.
something I really needed for myself, for the sense of belonging.
Yeah.
Um, which I found just when I finished writing my book. So,
Yeah. So was she shocked when you contacted her?
first of all, it was she was actually in she is in France, and so for in France she was really kept secret, and she didn't want me to find her. She never looked for me, and when we started
Mm,
talking with my husband, we found a lot of help from the French government and a lot of association, and they help us to find her. And
yeah.
yeah, and I did needed to write her a letter to ask her if it's okay to meet with her. So I put that also in my book. How do you
Oh,
do that after 30 something year of looking for your birth mom? How do you write a letter and be nice? Because if not, you will not meet with,
yeah.
you know.
Right. Yeah. I imagine there was an awful lot of emotional
Yeah,
feelings and baggage that came with that.
yeah.
I just can't imagine that. I know there were times that I used to wish I was adopted.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. I guess I just wished for a different life.
Yeah, I think we all, maybe not all, but most of most of us want to have another life. So,
Yeah. There comes a
but
day like that. Yeah. Most people, most children anyway.
yeah,
Uh,
but
So,
that's it's okay because we are writers, so it's a kind of having another life every time we write a
yeah.
book.
You're right. That's really true. Yep. And did you
were
kind of
you
escape from your life sometimes when you were young? Did you write when you were
Yeah,
young?
yeah. I started writing. I was really, really young. I think 8 or 9, or yeah.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah,
started
I
writing
was
a lot.
too. Yeah. Yeah, I wrote myself a whole nother life.
Yeah, perfect. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
amazing.
were you able to forgive your mom for
Oh yes, oh yes, 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 yes. I did that to forgive. I did all that. I think after so many years of writing that book, so I started a long time ago, and all the process was to forgive. And I really believe that when we write something, we are looking or to another life or to something else, a sense of
Yeah.
belonging, forgiveness,
Yeah.
love, all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yes, I
Yeah.
forgive. Yeah, of course.
Right. Or to grow, because we don't want to stay the same a lot of times. We want
Yeah,
to keep growing, and that's definitely a growth stage would be to forgive someone for
yeah.
something that had affected you so long and so severely.
But I really believe that after forgiving my birth mom, and I also forgive my parent for keeping that a secret, because when they kept
Uh-huh.
that as a secret, they have to lie a lot. And
Yeah.
it was really a lot of energy going to that kind of, life when we have to
Hmm.
lie and everything. But I think the
Right.
most important I learned it was that I need to forgive myself,
Uh-huh.
and it was the last one after I forgive everyone, and I'm like, okay, I forgive everyone, I'm good. And then my husband actually asked me, he said, I think you need to forgive one more person. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I realized after, he didn't say anything, just and
Uh-huh.
after a few weeks, I'm like, okay, I need to forgive myself. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just another quick question for you on there. How did you find out you were adopted?
Oh my gosh. So so one day I was a lot sick when I was a kid, a lot, like always sick. And one day
Uh-huh.
my dad took me to the doctor, and the doctor asked my dad some question about my life and my
Hmm.
infancy and everything. And when it gets to really when she was really baby, I was a pregnancy, blah blah blah. And then my dad, oh, I don't know, we adopted her
Oh,
in
wow.
front of me
Uh-huh.
with a fever. So I'm
Uh-huh.
like, maybe it's a fever. I think 11 or 12, I think 12. And I look at him like, what's going on here? Like, it was a big secret, but I think my dad felt the need to share with people.
Yeah. Well,
And
after you keep a secret like that and you're lying for so long, after a while, I think it really wears on a person. If they have any kind of a moral code at all, that's got to be really hard.
yeah,
But I know, back in, let's say, the olden days, I'm aging myself. Back when I was young, a lot of times children that were adopted were not told.
absolutely. I
So that
agree.
wasn't at all unusual.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. And it was also another long time ago. And it was like, a certain culture and religion. But
Mm-hmm.
I didn't talk with him about that. We just went home, and I stayed home for a few days. And we didn't talk. But like you said, it's another generation and
Yeah.
children. We didn't have a say. Like,
Right.
what do you think?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
No,
but
you don't think.
children, as they say, children should be seen and not heard. And that
Absolutely.
was the way
Absolutely.
we were treated when we were young. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And
yeah.
I didn't. But one day I remember, I don't know how many years after, I always tied that together, but I know it didn't happen the same day. It happened few years later. But for me, it's the same day. I don't know why in my head it's. But few days later, I saw. My dad went to work, and I stay home with my mom, and my
Mhm.
parents were really, really, really doing really attention what I'm looking at on the TV.
Yeah.
And that day she didn't, and it was about a lady or someone stole her baby, and she was yelling, my baby, my baby. And when I saw that, I start screaming like crazy.
Oh,
And yeah, and it was a day I remember until today. And I was like telling I was just yelling, and I don't know, it was it triggered a reaction.
oh
And
yeah.
and my mom was like, what's going on? And I'm like, who are you? And it was so hard. Now when I think about that,
Oh,
I'm crying. Like I'm like, oh my
Oh,
gosh, how do
wow.
you say that to your mom? So that's why I needed
yeah.
to forgive myself, because I did say a lot of stuff like, who are you? And why did I'm here, and you're telling that to the doctor. So she said, we told you when you were 2 years old, and we told you when you were 4 years old. So they were telling me, but just you're adopted. Okay, let's move on.
Anything though. You didn't know what it was, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
yeah, my sister and brother used to say I was adopted, but they were just doing it to be mean. So
okay, yeah. So exactly, and it's so true, because yeah, to be mean, you understand the
Hmm.
meaning of what you
Yeah.
are saying now. Yeah, you are
Yeah.
adopted to be
Yeah.
mean.
Right. What you're saying to that person is that you don't belong. You're not
Absolutely,
a part of this family.
absolutely, absolutely.
And yeah, that's a hard thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes. I didn't want to be part of my family, but then that's a whole nother topic.
Oh, yeah. No, we are talking just about adoption right now because
Yes, that's right.
we are not. Yeah. No, but it's why, that's why, absolutely why I needed to find my sense of belonging. And
Yeah.
just watching at my cover of my book, I found that,
Do you have your book?
yeah,
Can you see the cover? You are allowed. Oh, that is so cute.
it's me.
Yeah, that's really cute.
It's me when I was a baby. And my
Yeah.
daughter actually did the cover.
Uh-huh.
My
That's
daughter,
awesome.
Oh,
my daughter Danielle. Yeah.
that's really neat. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have something called the Legacy Writing Guide.
Yeah.
What is the Legacy Writing Guide?
Oh, wow. It's actually guiding people to write their stories for future generation in honor
Hmm.
of past generation. And I think it's really important to grab that, uh, all the memories and everything we
Yeah.
have about our life, past generation life, and grab that and give that to future
Hmm.
generation. It's really
I
amazing.
think that is really a wonderful thing, I think. I'm kind of joking about not wanting to be part of my family, but I really did have a great family, and I have thought about writing about the legacy of especially my mother's side of the family. They were homesteaders, pioneers in Colorado, and there was a book written about them, and they that really is a good explanation of a lot of what they went through in the 1800s. And I thought about taking that book and kind of rewriting it into something a little more modern, and doing some more research, and then just taking it from there, and showing how they left a legacy for everyone else as we all came along at various times. And I love that idea. I'd love to take a look at your book.
Thank you. I have actually found that all of us, we have something really special that always seems to us so like ordinary, but it's
Hmm.
not. And
Yeah.
I love to ask personal question,
Uh-huh. I do too.
yeah, I'm asking super like, I want you as you are and
Hmm.
not as a society see you or your friend or your kids, your parents, just you. And
Hmm.
I really give them that safe place to be, just to be whatever.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be good or bad or
Uh-huh.
it just need to be you. What do you want?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I love that.
thank you.
You have to know who you are, though. I have
Oh,
come to find out that there are so many people out there who are fake, who are trying to come across as something that they're not, or um, hide who they actually are through a facade of different circumstances. And
Hmm.
when it comes to healing yourself, you talk about the healing power of storytelling.
yeah.
What do you mean by that?
I mean by that to put everything in your stories and not just not at all thinking about a book or thinking about publishing your book or whatever, just thinking about putting everything on the paper with no judgment and with not
Hmm.
no perfectionism and just what you have in your heart.
Hmm.
And um you know what I say all the time to my client? I say the paper won't judge you. It won't
Yeah.
say, it won't say, "Oh my God, this is so bad." So it's a really good thing. You can write whatever you want,
That's that's right.
And I did that for the letter I wrote the first time to my birth mom, and it was like, oh my gosh, oh many bad stuff. Of course, I didn't send that because I want her to
Yeah.
love me, but I did express whatever I needed to express and put
Hmm.
all that. And I think with time we are putting down all of the facade you were talking about, and
Yeah.
it takes time, but it
Hmm.
allows us to put everything down and just reflect and release.
Yeah. 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 I think it really allows the person to let go of things that were hanging on to that were not
Mhm.
helping them.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and as you're writing, you're letting go of it. And when I wrote my memoir, it was like that too. It took me
Mhm.
30 years to write it. So it
Mhm.
took, from when I first started, and it was probably more than 30 years by the time I got done. But it does, give you a sense of freedom. Once you put down on paper things that you maybe were afraid to talk about,
Yeah,
maybe you felt like people were going to judge you for, once you put it down on paper and you saw it, it kind of took some of the power away and it
yeah,
just becomes another story.
yeah,
So it could have been a
absolutely.
story that I had read in a library book. But yeah, I think I really understand what you're talking about with the power of storytelling. And then telling your story, of course, frees up other people to tell their stories and to, relate to you in whatever way they can. And I find that those stories kind of link us all together in the end. It makes us
Absolutely.
all
Absolutely.
a culture of people who are linked instead
Absolutely.
of a culture of people who are separate from each
We,
other.
yeah, we are all connected by stories, all of us.
Yes,
And that's
right.
why I think the part of sharing is also really important. Yeah, for sure,
Mhm.
because we need to share, and that's how we connect to other people in a really good way. And
Right.
um, sometimes I think people they don't realize actually what happened, because sometimes we need to survive, we need to move on. We are
Yeah.
When I was younger and I needed to survive, or I needed to. I met my first husband. I need to move on, kids, blah blah blah, and second
Uh-huh.
husband, blah blah blah. So but but sometimes we need to slow down and say, okay,
Uh-huh.
just a minute, let's see what's going on
Yeah.
here, and take the time to actually process all that. And yeah.
Uh-huh. Did you find that your relationships were in any way colored by your experience of being adopted?
I don't know. I think my experience are really special, but I don't think it's about because of my adoption. Maybe I don't. You know what? Maybe yes, because actually, I have so many different religion in my life, and in my birth parent and adoptive parent, and so many culture
Uh-huh.
and so many. So yes, you're right. Okay. Yes, yes, it's a lot of people from all over. So, yeah,
Hmm.
and I
Well,
talk
Yeah.
about it in my book. Yeah. What? Sorry.
speaking of experiences,
Yeah.
you have had an interesting experience. You went to school at Sapir College in Israel.
Yeah.
Tell us some stories from that.
Oh wow. So I lived in Israel for 22 years, and when I met my husband Sharon, I told him I want to go back to school and like to college, and I did, and it was a really interesting experience because at Sapir College there are really different, like a lot of people from different background all together,
Uh-huh.
different religion. It's really opened and really like, and I like it so much. I love it so much, and it's actually there that I started writing my book.
Uh-huh.
um, I have one teacher, and I took a class with her, and I told her I want to write my story, And I was like, I am adopted, and I started crying. And it
Uh-huh.
was the first time at almost 40. Yeah, I started crying, and it was the first time I actually share with someone about my adoption, because I didn't talk about that. And
Yeah.
I told her, I'm so sad. I need to write about my adoption. So when I started writing, I was really upset and really sad, and I was a victim. And she asked me, what about your mom? And I'm
Mhm.
like, what do you mean? I am the adopted child. I am the poor baby. I need you, you know. And so she said, I want to know about your mom. Go and
Yeah.
ask your mom some question. And it was the first time that I actually thought about my mom as a human being and not my mom.
Uh-huh.
And it was really interesting to see my mom as a woman and not as my mom. And
Yeah.
I went to my mom and interviewed her, and I met my mom as a person, and it
Mhm.
was amazing. It was a best
Yeah.
thing. Oh, yeah. And so, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody should do that. Everyone should interview their
absolutely,
parents when
absolutely.
they're, once they get old enough that they are, able to separate themselves and, see their parents as different people and
Yeah.
as human beings and not just parents, through that one lens of you're my mother, or you're my father, and, I don't see anything else. But it's a kind of you're right, liberating thing, and an eye-opening thing to see your parents as humans,
And that,
with their own faults and characteristics and things they struggle with.
and
You see their faults, but you don't see the things that they struggle with, when you're a child.
I asked her so many questions, and I asked her about, and that's how I started the legacy writing guide, asking people really unique question about
Uh,
who was your first love, you know,
uh-huh.
and what
Yeah.
did you love to eat when you were a little girl, and all kind of stuff. And it
Uh-huh.
was amazing because behind every single word she said, it was an entire life, an entire treasure
Mm.
and secret, and every word is like, oh wow, it's amazing, it's really
Opens
amazing.
up a whole new world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I was really lucky to do that because she passed away not long time ago, so we had that opportunity to know each other a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think it was a gift, and she passed, and now
Mm.
I'm like, okay, at least I had that moment where I
Yeah.
interview her. So
Hmm. That's really
Now,
beautiful.
now, did you go from France to Israel, or did you have stops along the way to get to that point?
no, I was in France, and from France, of course, I went to all kind of places for a short time: Spain, Italy, London, Amsterdam, all of the, Germany, and but
Uh-huh.
just for short times. And then I moved to Israel for 32 years, and now we are in Colorado since 2017. But I'm not going anywhere anymore. Like
What
I'm good.
are you in the Denver area?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So
Now, did you
so
go
you're a
straight from?
neighbor of Steve's.
Yeah.
Did you go from
Yeah.
Israel to Colorado here?
Yeah. Yeah.
What made you choose Colorado?
My husband.
A job? Did he have a
Yes, he's
job or?
working here for Dish Network. Yes. But
Uh-huh.
I think my first time when I moved to France, from France to Israel, it was with my first husband. So
Uh-huh.
so don't judge
Uh-huh.
me, please. Every time
No judgment.
someone told me, like, it's like, yeah, it's no, I'm good. I'm good with
Yeah.
the marriage and with the husband, we are good. So yeah, but
Yeah.
I did met my first husband in France, and we moved together to Israel, and then I met
Uh-huh.
my current husband, Sharon, and we moved to
Uh-huh.
Colorado.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I
There
grew
you
up in
go.
Colorado.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah. Yeah. So I lived there for several years,
Oh,
many
wow.
years. Yeah.
Okay, good.
In fact, his
So you've
I didn't.
you've talked a
Was
lot
pretty
about it,
close.
and you haven't actually like
Sorry.
brought this up, but what role has God played in your life?
Wow, so much. Actually, so much. Um, it's very interesting you are asking me that because people never ever see me as a spiritual person. So I'm a believer in God, and I know God is always with me through my way, and it was really challenging, believe me. So is always mostly when I wrote that book because it was really hard. But I think to find forgiveness and all of that, it's for sure related to God being always with me. So
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah,
That's one of the hardest lessons that I've learned in my life is forgiveness. Um, when somebody does something wrong to you, you are hurt and you want to understand it and you want it explained and you want your mind to come to that conclusion of they did this because of this. So you can say, okay, maybe I can help fix this or anything like that. You internalize things to the point where it starts to actually become bad for you,
yeah,
where you can just turn around and say, okay, it was done. I forgive it. Let me learn my lesson and move on with my life. And seeing everything that you've come from, hearing your story up to this point, you've had to deal with a lot of forgiveness on things.
oh my goodness. And I have more books. So every book is like, oh, I need to forgive. I think people think that forgiveness is to forget everything, but I really don't believe in that. I actually believe
No.
it's not about we remember, but
Hmm.
as you said, we don't get hurt anymore because I
Right.
was the one suffering. I was the one feeling so bad all the time, and
Hmm.
because other people' decision actually, you know.
Yeah.
And there is that moment when you are so exhausted and like, oh my gosh, what I'm going to do with all that? I'm so exhausted to have that in my shoulder. It's so heavy, and
Yeah.
I don't need that anymore. So it's really take a moment to okay, I need to slow down and go do something with that. So for me, it was writing, but for sure, it's a lot of prayer and a lot of God into that. So
Hmm.
yeah, yep,
I agree. And we're all on our own journey. Nobody's journey is the same. Nobody's journey ends up, you know,
But
paralleling.
they're different. But what I'm finding is as we interview more and more people on this show, everybody's got something. Something's happened to everybody that has caused them to be broken in some way.
yeah,
I used to think that, okay, I'm broken and everybody else is fine. And, so I felt like, something wrong with me. But no, everybody, they don't get broken as a child. Maybe it's later, but everybody goes through something. There's not a person that I have met yet that has had uh, a life where they did not have to go through some kind of emotional turmoil. So it's interesting to see that, and I think once a person realizes that it's not like God is singling you out to pick on you or anything. It's just we're in this fallen world and things happen, and that's just part of it. And once you realize that, and it's not just you feeling like God somehow has it in for you, then it changes your whole outlook. You see things differently, and that helps.
yeah. I
I
think
agree with you.
I think my relationship with God is really intimate. It's not, you
Hmm.
know, I don't share a lot about that, but I have like thousands of examples in my life where, yeah, for sure there is way more than just that.
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
for sure. So
So you were in France
yes,
and you went all around Europe, ended
yeah,
up in Israel,
yeah.
and eventually ended up here in Colorado.
Mhm.
Throughout all of those travels, what is the best advice you've ever received?
Um, this is a hard one. I think maybe when I was actually in France, I was in high school just before I dropped off high school, and one of my teacher told me to never stop writing because I was really good at it, and I
Hmm.
think it was one little light in all the darkness I was going through at that time, and
Hmm.
so it stayed with me until I come back to writing. So.
Hmm. Yeah. It's always nice to hear someone you respect tell you that you're good at something, you know, and that's the kind of thing you do remember.
Yeah.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. So that's the best advice you've ever received. Having gone through all of this, what's the best advice you can give?
Write a book, please. No, really.
That came quick. You
Yes,
didn't have to think about it.
absolutely. Because that's what I'm saying to everyone. Like, please go write a book.
Uh-huh.
Uh, yeah, write a book. It's not specific. You don't need to think about publishing, not publishing, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But
But nowadays it's so much easier to quote write a book because you don't actually have to write. You can just dictate it to your phone and let your phone write it. And then you've got something you can go back and read and you can rewrite it if you want to. But for people who don't like to write,
I
maybe
am
they like to,
allowed to respond to that.
yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
No, I really, really believe, and that's what I'm really believe to actually write at least a
Uh-huh.
little, at least a little part of it. So
Yeah. Oh,
let's
yeah. Yeah, for
let's do
sure.
a half half.
Yeah,
We'll take
definitely.
just a
Oh,
little bit
yeah.
because the act of writing with a pen on the paper, it's really
Yep,
um, helping a
it
lot
is.
of.
I'm just speaking to all those people out there who say, I can't write. I can't write. And you can talk,
I
and
know.
so you can get started with
Absolutely.
something.
Absolutely.
Just
Absolutely.
talk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I know. I know. I'm also doing that for other people. So I know. Absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But write a book. At least
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, right. Everybody should write a book at least
At
once.
least one. Yeah.
Right.
Um,
I wrote my
I,
book
I,
3 times, the same book 3 times.
Me too. Me too.
Oh, see? Yeah, that's not that unusual.
No.
You write
No.
it and
No.
then you realize you could do a better job. That's what I did. I thought I could do it better. I want to do it different. It wasn't quite the way I wanted it, so I rewrote it.
For me, it was more about the first time was for myself, for my
Uh-huh.
healing.
Yeah.
And it was 2 years ago I published, and now I rewrote it and republished for my readers. It's more
Uh-huh.
of an invitation for the readers,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's much better, but because it's more about opening an invitation, yeah, to the
Uh-huh.
readers.
Yeah. 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 It seems like, what it does is it shows growth in the writer to,
Absolutely.
realizing, going back and looking at it and realizing that I could say this better. I could do a better job at helping people understand this or that. And
it,
it's one of those things. Sometimes it's hard to let go of, but I'm done now. I did it three
Absolutely.
times.
And it's
Three
connected
times was
to
enough.
the healing process. It's
Yeah,
all connected to the healing
definitely.
process. and
Yes.
people don't always realize that. But after a few years, I knew for sure that for me it was for my healing it was perfect.
Hmm.
For my readers, we had some
Uh,
work to do.
yeah.
so so
Yeah.
yeah,
It
and
was a lot
and
the same for me as well. The first one really was definitely for me to, to get out what I needed to get out. And
yeah,
by the time the third one came around, it was a good book for other people to read.
absolutely. And you need to be ready to do that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, speaking of books, do you have plans to write another book?
I actually did. And I wrote, I think, one, two, three, four, and I'm writing another one. And they
Uh-huh.
are all ready to publish, but I'm not publishing yet. And yes, and absolutely, when you are doing the first one and redoing the first one, you are
Hmm.
a better writer for sure.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
So lucky
Yeah.
me, I did learn something.
Right.
Oops, it was so good. But yes, I did wrote another book about my actually my relationship with my ex-husband. So it's pretty much when the first one ends, we go to Israel,
Uh-huh.
and I have a children book, and I have so many more, and they are ready, and I'm writing another one. So yeah, writing for
Uh-huh.
sure. Yeah,
Oh, that's
always.
great.
Very nice.
That's great.
Very nice.
Big
I want to read those when when they come out for
thank
sure,
you.
or we can help you get those to publication as well.
Oh wow,
Um,
thank you.
yeah, most certainly. So
Yes,
you've come through all this journey. You're here now. You've written more books. You are moving forward.
yes.
But where do you see yourself in the next year?
Oh wow. So I see myself going everywhere in the United States, because since we are here, I'm just in Colorado, and
Hmm.
I really want to explore the United States.
Yeah.
And I'm a speaker, so I want to
Uh-huh.
go everywhere and talk about
Yeah.
the power of writing and storytelling. So that's what I
Well,
want to see myself next
make
year.
one of your first stops Texas because I'm in Texas now.
Yes, here we go. And Texas is not long, so it's good. So
Mm.
yeah, yeah, I think it's a good thing to do to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that sounds great.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Traveling
So,
is
uh,
also very educational.
Oh my gosh, yes, yes.
and while you're traveling with your books, you will gain more experience, you will gain more knowledge, and when you write more, you'll be able to add more to the next book or fill in the gaps on the last book or change what's necessary for you to, as you were saying, improve yourself constantly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I hope the first one is good. We are done with the first one. uh, but I'm always rewriting and writing my books. I think it's a part of I did wrote like four, or I don't know how many, but I'm for sure going to grab one of them and rewrite it. Yeah. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, always. I'm always yeah, for sure.
Very
We need to
nice.
be open
What
minded.
is your children's book about?
Fears.
Mm.
I
Oh,
wrote it with my kids.
Stephen wrote one about fear also.
Oh, really? Oh, my goodness. We need to talk.
Mhm. Yeah. My second book is Curiosity and Encouragement to Overcome Fear.
Oh, wow.
So it tackles Curiosity's uh, fear from when he was a kitten and the
Oh,
feeling of being in a box alone and the storm
oh,
comes along and he's so scared.
my God.
So when a storm happens when he's older, this fear goes into him and he gets paralyzed by it.
Oh,
So encouragement is there, and she's just offering him what she does best: encouragement, love, understanding, patience, and she gets
Wow.
him to realize that he's okay and it's okay to have fears and it's okay to do it. And so that's the
Mhm.
second book, and yeah, I think
So
the emotion of fear needs to be looked at more, especially with children.
yeah, and when we moved here from Israel with my kids, it was really, really challenging to start all over. And yeah, so we wrote that together actually with
Oh,
my two youngest, and it was a long time ago. It was in 2017 when we just moved here, and now it's ready. But yeah, so it's interesting. We need to talk about fears more for sure. Yeah.
I was terrified. When I was a child, I was scared of everything. I was just constantly
Oh.
scared.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, everything scared me. I'm,
Mhm.
I'm now I don't still don't like horror movies. They still scare me. So
Me
I
too.
won't watch them.
Me
But
too.
when I was a child, I was very badly scared by things like that. I mean, I would not sleep
Oh
for
wow.
days, and it, just really affected me. But
Yeah.
some children are just a lot more sensitive than others, and
Yeah.
my oldest daughter was like that too. So probably one of those things. Sometimes you inherit tendencies to
Yeah.
be a certain way, and then it's one of those other things you have to overcome.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So
So
one of the things we have here is we do have an audience, sometimes of younger viewers, because we do have children's books that we publish, and I'm a children's book author myself. So this next question I like to propose is advice you would give to your younger self, but keep it in a way of advice to our younger viewers. So if you could give advice to your younger self, what would it be? Keep it in the aspect of thinking of the viewers that are watching this and giving them advice for moving forward.
wow. So I think my advice will be keep dreaming and always dreaming, dreaming and dream big and everything is possible. So I was a dreamer
Mhm.
and I'm a dreamer and keep dreaming. So
I think she's been reading your posts on Facebook, Stephen.
no, I'm not. Why? Susan,
That's what he
no,
says all the
seriously.
time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So we need to meet and have a
Yeah.
conversation one on one. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was a dreamer and I have a lot of imagination. And when I was
Mhm.
younger, people always say, "Oh my gosh, just stop that." But no, don't stop that. Just keep
Yeah.
dreaming.
Agreed. Agreed. Every book that I sign in, I always put the same thing in there. Remember to dream, and when you dream, always dream big.
Absolutely. Amen.
And that's because when you dream big, that's what actually changes the world. It's not
Absolutely.
the little things. It's not switching from, one color to a different color. It's actually taking that and putting it all on the spectrum of everything and dreaming big. It's how we got to the moon. It's how we changed history. It's how we overcame things.
Yeah.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly. Always dream and dream big.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
Um,
You two
yeah, we'll definitely
dreamers.
have to meet and get coffee. Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, for
dreamers are
sure.
awesome though.
Yeah, for sure. We have to, for sure. Yeah, and more books. Be careful what you are saying because it will end up in my book. So no, I'm kidding.
That's fine.
I'm really that way. Seriously, now I'm like, oh, it's a book. It's a book. It's a book. I'm like,
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's
no, that's
really
fine.
cool. I love it.
That's how it's supposed to be.
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
have a friend who's in a wheelchair and she is a runway model
Wow.
and she has this confidence that I don't see very often. So I met with her and she started promoting some of my books and just got to know her as a friend and personally. And then I wrote another book called Curiosity and Encouragement Rock and Roll Model. And it's about a cat who's in a wheelchair and has
Oh,
all the confidence in the world, but is like a rock star. So she's got
Oh,
like the little
wow.
punk rock hair and everything like that. And
Wow.
um, you never know where you're going to find inspiration. So
yeah,
if I can give you
that's
inspiration and you
true.
can write a book from that, go for it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh my God, this is so
yeah.
amazing.
I get inspiration that makes me want to write poetry. So I've written about 200, over 200 poems.
Wow.
And I was going to publish them, and then I got sidetracked when I started my publishing company, and I got busy publishing other people's books, and so it still hasn't gotten published yet. But
Yeah.
they're still there, ready.
I started with poetry when I get back to writing at Sapir
Uh-huh.
College. Uh,
Yeah.
at Sapir College, it was so interesting, and we learned so much. And every day, I'm like, I need to write about that. I need to. So I was writing
Yeah.
poetry, songs, and yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
do you write
It's
in English or do you write in French?
Oh my goodness.
that's a really good question.
It's a really good question. A lot of people asking
Yeah.
me. So I grew up in France, but my parents moved to Israel when I was 4. So I did kindergarten and first grade in Israel, and I'd get back to France, and then get back to Israel, and then
Uh-huh.
here. And so I wrote my first book in Hebrew. And I'm writing in
Hebrew.
Hebrew
Wow.
because I did kindergarten and first grade in Israel. And for me, it's my first
Wow.
language when I'm writing. It's so
Hmm.
weird, I know,
It
because
is.
I feel so French. Like when I'm in French, I'm like I'm
Uh-huh.
home. It's so
Yeah.
good. It's me. It's feel
Right.
good. But when I'm writing in Hebrew, and I
Uh-huh.
translated the book in English, and now my other books I actually wrote in English. So
Uh-huh.
I'm really nervous about that.
Well, if you
Yes.
need someone to edit it for you, let me know.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
I took a lot of French in high school and in college also, and then because I wanted to go to France so bad, and I did get to go to France a couple of times, and it was really fun, really interesting. But I found that my French was not as as polished or useful once you get to France
I know, and I think
because
the same with my
uh,
English when I don't know English at all, and I'm
yeah,
moving here with a family, my husband, my kids, my dog, and I don't know English.
mhm,
Maybe
yeah,
hello, thank you, that's all.
yeah. I
And
found I could read it
oh, really? Wow.
and yeah, but trying to speak it or understand, the worst was trying to understand someone else because they would talk too fast and I just wasn't getting it. So
Yeah, I'm still
yeah,
learning
but it,
English.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's nice people are understanding about that kind of thing. And nowadays, it seems like you don't necessarily have to be really fluent in a particular language to go someplace.
Mhm.
You've got Google Translate and variety of ways to communicate with people, in other languages. So,
But you know that in Colorado, maybe everywhere in the United States, it's a really unique English. It's not,
yes, and when you come to visit me in Texas, you will be very surprised to hear how
and
some people here talk.
okay. So
When we first moved to Texas from Colorado, we had someone stop by and he was going to treat our yard for insects. And he talked for probably 30 minutes, and I don't think I understood a single thing he said. And I knew he was speaking English, but it was with such a heavy Texas accent that I just couldn't get it. So it takes a while, after you move someplace like Texas, after a while, you just, you pick it up really quick. But uh, it not at first. I mean, that can be, and you're right. The um, English in like Boston, New York area, that's just really different too.
But
My husband is from Boston
okay.
and his family. So when I first met his family, I had a little bit of trouble understanding their Boston accent.
Oh wow.
You're right. There are different varieties of English.
I I know that when I talk in front of people and they're all looking
Mhm.
at me like, and I'm like, I'm not from Colorado. I'm actually from Texas. I'm from Texas. And people are laughing. And then one day I have that lady, she came to me after my talk and she said, oh my gosh, I'm from Texas too. I'm like, okay, I'm from France. Yeah. But my accent is a mix of Hebrew and French.
That's what I was thinking when you were talking. It sounded like it probably was. From what I could tell, well, I'm not, no expert.
Yeah. So it's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
languages are fun.
language is great, but we are coming up on the end here. Is there anything that you wish to share with our viewers about how they can get in contact with you, find out more about your books, and get educated on upcoming releases?
Yeah, I have a website. It's odeliaelgarat.com. So it's ODELIAELGARAT.com. And I have actually a free gift for you audience, and they can just send me an email to odeliaelgarat@gmail.com. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, that's great.
Does that include me? Can I send you an email?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's a
Awesome.
surprise. So
Um, well, I want to appreciate everything you've done for us today, Odelia. Thank you for coming on to our show.
thank you
Thank you
for
for sharing your story. Thank you for opening our eyes to different things. We haven't had anybody who comes from France via Israel, via Spain, and all the other places you went to,
In
and come on our
Texas.
show here. So it's
Texas.
very fun to actually have this interaction with you, and
Thank you.
um, I can't wait to hear more about your story and the new books that are coming out, and just you've made a fan in me. So
Thank you.
Mhm.
definitely
Yeah,
keep us informed.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you so
We
yeah.
much
look, we
for
look.
having me.
We need to
Oh, you're
stay in
most
touch.
certainly very welcome.
Yeah.
Yes, we definitely do stay in touch.
Yeah.
Go ahead and hang out in the lobby for a few minutes after this up so we can wrap up the show. And is there anybody out there you want to say hi to or
Yeah, everyone. Hi. My friend, my family, my no, I'm kidding. I don't know. Yeah, hi and thank you.
Uh,
That's great. Thank you.
uh,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you once again for spending your Sunday with us. And thank you for coming on the show.
Yep.
That was fun.
Yeah.
She
She was really
is,
interesting.
yeah, she's got a story on there, man. Lots of books to come out on there. And I definitely
Yeah.
agree with her on there. Keep writing, to all
Yes.
our people out there who watch and get into that. What do I do next? What do I do next? You continue
Yeah.
writing. You just get down there.
Right.
Um, write it on paper, type it out on your screen, talk it into a translator, whatever you need to do. Get that
Yeah.
writing out all the
And
time.
start
And
young. If you're young, she had great advice. If you're young, get started writing. Start young because it's such a wonderful outlet and something that you'll be happy that you started, um, and that you're capable of doing because it will really, it'll take you far.
agreed, agreed. Um, as always, like we said, we are sponsored by Soul Sunshine. Be sure to visit us at soulsunshine.com. This Summertime, we are doing a summer reading program. So visit us on soulsunshine.com to find out how to be a part of that. Thank you for everybody for watching with us today. Thank you for coming on the show, Odelia. We look forward to your future with everything. Thank you for spending your Sunday with us, and we will see you guys all next week. Have a good week.
Bye.
Ever dreamed of seeing your name on the cover of a book? As a book publisher, we understand the challenges of self-publishing. If you're lost in the process, wondering about illustrators, book coaches, or formatting issues, worry not. At Soul Sunshine, we're here to guide you. Let's turn your dream into reality. Contact us to get started.